Good evening, everyone. Welcome along to the SFC interviews here with Connor Calcutt today. This is episode 80 as well. So, how's things gone?
Yeah, they're good. Just cracking on, working, living in lockdown. Well, nearly out.
It's been a crazy year for absolutely everyone, hasn't it?
Yeah, bonkers. I'm glad we're seeing the back of it.
Yeah, definitely. And, we'll go into your time at Stevenage here. And originally you were brought in on trial. So, did you have many sort of offers from other clubs to come in for pre-season with them as well? Or was it just Stevenage at that time?
The season before, I was at Millwall. I'd literally gone from non-league to Millwall, and then nothing really happened there. And they said, go to Stevenage and see how we get on. And Stevenage was the only real pro club I was approached by. I think if it wasn't Stevenage, it probably would have been a team in the National, I think, because it was a massive jump, because I think I was in Step 8 at Borough.
Okay, yeah.
And that all the way up to, obviously, League 2 at the time was a bit unheard of. So I was lucky to get my deal. But I managed to squeeze one out.
I think the reason you squeezed one out is, down to my next question, really, and my next point, and that's the West Ham pre-season friendly when you scored. And, of course, it was a fantastic performance from the boys that day. And, I bet, on the back of that, I'm sure you probably would have had a few more offers on the back of that, wouldn't you, as well?
There was a few phone calls, but the whole day I was on cloud nine. I think it's probably one of the most important goals I think I've ever scored in my life. Because at the time, I think we had the game on a Saturday, and Wesley brought me into the dressing room on a Friday, and he was very honest. He said, "Look, you're not at the level that we obviously need, but you're improving. So we're going to give you another couple of weeks." I think he said another 2 weeks to see if you continue improving. And then I managed to get on and nick a goal, so I was over the moon. And then, yeah.
Of course, it's a big team to score against in West Ham as well.
What made it good is a couple of my mates are West Ham fans, and they were watching the game. So as soon as I got into the motor outside, it was all the group chats were going crazy. So it was a crazy time.
And of course, that was it all kind of kicked off from there for you, didn't it? Really, in regards to getting your contract with the club, and being signed by Graham as well. And the main question really that I've asked everyone is, what was Graham like to play under?
It was hard but fair, if I'm honest. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he wanted his players to want the same thing. I think if you buy into it, I think fitness-wise, that's the fittest I've ever been. I was running, swimming, going to the gym. I've done a few of his gym sessions as well, where the walls sweat. They were brutal. If you get through the fitness, you'd be in perfect condition. So obviously that squad got to the playoffs, so there can't be much he did wrong. So I've got nothing but respect for him, to be fair.
And of course, as you said, it worked as well, getting to the playoffs. And you made your debut against Hartlepool, and that was, what was that? Was that the first game of the season, I believe, as well? And what was that like to kind of come in and play straight away on the back of kind of getting in there, and of course making a name for yourself against West Ham, and you were competing against some decent strikers in there as well.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was all. If I could describe it, it was a roller coaster for me at that time, because obviously I'd gone from playing in front of maybe 50 fans and 50 parents to thousands of people in these stadiums, where people live, eat, sleep, breathing football, and obviously there's local football, but it's massive for these people. So for me, it was a bit like, cool, people know my name. They want me to sign their program. I don't even know who I am. So for me, it was a bit crazy, but I enjoyed every minute. And obviously playing in these games where there's people singing and proper fans singing football, it was incredible all the time. Yeah.
And of course, everyone knew your name eventually, but on that West Ham one, you were trialist, weren't you? Trialist 8 or whatever it was.
It was trialist 2, I think.
Yeah.
You were going to bring up the photo that I had on my... I knew it was going to come up.
I haven't got the photo. I wish I had.
God.
I wish I had. I wish I could find it somewhere.
Honestly, all you got to do is my phone. It's in a group chat somewhere. Everyone finds it. But, yeah.
I wish I could find it. I might have to try and see if I can find it before the end.
Oh, no, don't. I'm so glad that's timed out.
But no, that was, of course, you know, as I mentioned there, you were competing against some really top strikers. Adam Marriott, Beardsley, Zola. You know, Darius was playing up front sometimes as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the squad depth was ridiculous. Obviously, Adam come in. He was on. Obviously, I was proper earning my stripes, and obviously Adam come in, and everyone knew exactly who he was and what he'd do. So his deal was, you know, when I first met him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm coming on trial," and I thought, "Oh, maybe we're on the same kind of come from non-league." But he was his record before, and you know, they instantly loved him. Whereas I had to run a bit further than Adam did. But what a footballer Adam was and is still, you know, prolific goal scorer.
And another one that come in at the same time as well was Cameron Lancaster, another striker that come in, and of course Cam was it from Tottenham he come from?
Yeah, see, when I was a youngster, we were at Tottenham together, so I obviously knew Cameron when he come in. So, but when I knew him, he was a winger. So obviously when he come in and he was a striker, I was like, oh no, another one. But no, I like Cam. He's a good lad, good player. I think he went to America, and done quite well over there. So I got nothing but time for Cam. He's a good boy, good lad.
I think he might have played under Gary Smith in America, I believe. Was it Nashville, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly the club, but I remember seeing a couple of videos. He scored a couple of screamers, I think, and I see him pop up. So it was nice to see him doing well.
I remember that goal he scored for Stevenage, the one where it certainly was a cross. I know if I got him on it, say it was a shot, but it was a million. Yeah. It certainly was a cross. Yeah.
Saying it was a cross, but he was adamant it weren't. There's no way he was letting that go.
No, that was, absolutely. And why would you if you were a striker as well?
Oh, I'd have gobbled that up all day long.
But no, you scored your only goal for the club, league goal against Plymouth, and a goal that, you know, we were so close to getting 3 points that day as well. Following, what was it, a last second equaliser, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vera handballed it in the penalty box. I was gutted. Like, you ruined my goal. We were right in the lines then. I think literally the whole game we were just trying to hold on. And I think we broke away. I scored. I think I was only on for like 10 minutes. Half time I come on. I think and then Welps crossed it and it just managed to just go back where it came from and went in. I remember it like it was yesterday. And then we just held on and literally the last kick of the game, they just managed to squeeze a penalty out of us. For me, it was scoring a goal was all obviously massively important for me. But I think the way that obviously Wesley had us all drilled was like it was 3 points in playoff form. So everyone was a bit gutted that we didn't get the points, but I was secretly happy that I managed to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, that's completely understandable as well. You've got to be a little bit selfish for being, you know, of course, being a striker, and that was your first proper goal for the club as well. And I'm sure you would have wanted to kick on from that and hopefully go on and get a few more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I was desperate to try and just get more minutes and just get a little bit that sharper and understand the level a little bit more. So I was slowly building up the minutes. And then obviously it kind of, our form dipped off a little bit and they started to bring in, I think, bigger names and I slowly got squeezed out online.
And then, so you played alongside Ronnie Henry in your time at the club as well. Of course, Ronnie was captain and he's now, you know, we touched on before, coaching at Stevenage in the academy, and of course you said that you played against him when he was at Billericay as well. And you know that's a massive, achievement really for Ronnie to go on and achieve what he did with the football club. Yeah,
good lad, Ronnie. He's a Hemel lad as well, so obviously I knew his area. You know, a lot of people I know Ronnie. He's a nice lad, good lad, good footballer as well. Proper captain, was always talking and. It was his life. He loved playing football. So, yeah, he's a good lad, Ronnie.
And, of course, he's still, as I said, involved at the club as well. And that's going to be massive for the under-23s, isn't it, to have him on, on the coaching side of it. And, of course, Jamal Campbell-Rice is there as well. John Ashton was there up until the weekend when he's decided to step away. Yeah.
Yeah, some serious ex-pros that have had, you know, real careers and played the level and understand, you know, what it takes to get to that level and not only get there but stay there. You know, Ronnie's been at League Two for a long time. So
and he did. He won the conference with Stevenage, and then he went to Luton and won the conference with Luton, and winning the trophy and everything as well. He's gone and achieved a lot. Yeah,
he really is. Good lad, Ronnie. I like him. Good lad.
So let's have a look here. So what was it like for you to actually make a step up into the Football League as well? Was that something that was quite a big challenge?
The best thing was I was on FIFA finally.
Yeah.
Nothing like me, but no, it was for me. It was a bit obviously going on coach trips and staying in hotels, and obviously I think when we played Bury away, that for me I think was when I was like, wow, this is what obviously pro football's like. So it was a bit crazy, and obviously the lads that had played and done it all before, it was all same for them, but for me it was all brand new. So it's all a bit like, okay, this is how we've got to behave, and this is what we've got to do, and it was all a bit crazy at the time, to be honest, but I loved every minute of it. Obviously, instead of going to work, and at the time I was laying bricks, to do that, and then obviously go and train all morning and go to the gym in the evening, it was like my dream come true. So yeah, it was a great time.
And of course, you mentioned that about being on FIFA as well. So that's obviously, is that something that you do? You play a little bit of FIFA as well, yeah?
Yeah, when the little one's asleep and the missus, I managed to squeeze a couple of minutes on there. But yeah, just nice downtime. Obviously, it changed when I weren't on there, though. I had to start creating myself again. I do like it, yeah.
So let's go back to. So what did you sort of learn from your time at Stevenage as well, sort of upon making the step into league football?
If I'm honest, I think my game actually completely changed. Wesley was like, "Look, you're 6'3". Obviously, when I was at non-league, it was all about counter-attacks and getting in behind. So for me, he obviously looked at me and said, no, you're not going to do that at League 2 level. So he obviously changed my game, and it was all about hold-up play and being big and strong rather than, because obviously I think he realised I'm not going to be as quick as some of the other people are naturally. So it was, right, what can we use you for? And obviously heading and holding the ball up. So for me, my game obviously completely changed. And as I've gone forward, that's what I've been used for a lot more. So yeah, my game completely changed.
And we had a comment there from Laura as well. She says, what was your best time at Stevenage?
Best, we've got to be the West Ham goal. Yeah, it has to be. I thought I was down the road. I thought I was going back to Borough. Scoring that game, it would have been a lot harder to squeeze a deal out. So yeah, it has to be West Ham, I think.
I think that's even bigger for you as well, because you're a Chelsea fan, aren't you?
I am a Chelsea fan, yeah. Nice. I just remember Jaskalainen being in goal. And when I scored, I didn't realise who was in goal. And it wasn't till after the game. Obviously, we finished the game, it was 2-2. I walked up to him to say, like, well done and that. And he said, oh, good shot. I couldn't reach it. I was like, oh, my God, I've watched it on telly. So, yeah. It was a crazy day. And then Collins was playing and Ravel Morrison was playing as well. So they had some really, really, obviously, names that I've watched for years. So it was incredible to be on the same pitch.
And then what have we got on here? So did you sort of know much about Stevenage when you signed for the club? Of course, you played at Hemel locally as a youth player, and you had time with St Albans as well. Yeah.
For me, I honestly didn't understand how big of a club Stevenage was. So obviously for me, they've just been promoted. They've had an FA Cup run. I didn't really know a lot at the time of moving there. And then obviously when I went to see the stadium, I was like, oh, wow. The stadium was nice at the time. Obviously it's got much better now. They've added to it as well. I really enjoyed my time there. It was really cool.
And, you said there about the stadium now being developed, and it is a proper league stadium now, isn't it? The training ground, the stadium, everything about Stevenage now is a Football League club. And it's, it was great to obviously remain a Football League club the season before last. And then this season, the club have gone on and just surprised everyone, haven't they, really?
I think that, I like to say, I think the setup behind, obviously, the football it's ready for Football League. Obviously, the training ground at the time when I went there was pretty new. But obviously having that facility there is just, only going to help the players obviously progress more and more. And obviously, as you say, the ground's getting bigger and nicer, and they're slowly doing more and more to it, which is only going to help the area as well. So yeah, they are definitely growing in the right way.
And then in the October, you moved on loan to Wealdstone, and that's where you suffered your injury as well that kept you out for, what was it, about sort of between 8-9 months or so, wasn't it? And that must have been very, very difficult to know that, you'd gone on loan there to Wealdstone. You kind of hoping to get some minutes and to get some goals and come back a stronger player, a player that's in a bit of form. And I think it was the first couple of games you got injured, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I was only supposed to be there for a month just to get a little bit sharper and play football again. And obviously minutes on a pitch is you can't get that in training. So I think the agreement was to go there for a month and just see how I got on. I think I played. Who did we play? Bournemouth, Ebbsfleet. Which at the time Ebbsfleet were winning everything. They had a massive squad. There's a lot of good players there. So for me, it was like, okay, this is national learning the league and obviously different players, different environment. But it was good. And then obviously, where was my injury? I remember it. Where was it now? I can't remember where it was. I remember how it happened. Keeper saved it, come out. I thought I could sneak in and I just rolled my ankle and the defender, the defender was on my left and it was just my weight and his weight and the ankle said no and it just popped. But at first I thought I was all right. I tried to get up. I thought, and as I lifted my calf up, my ankle was just...
Oh, no, yeah.
It shouldn't bend. So, the best thing was, as I got in the dressing room, the physio was like, that's all right, we put some ice on it and you'll be fit for Saturday. And I was like, I don't think so. And then managed to get to the hospital. A couple of the lads dropped me off and drove my van back, which was quite handy of them. Because obviously, new lad, I didn't really know anyone there.
Yeah.
So obviously, they looked after me. Went and got my ankle done. And yeah, they said 2 breaks and the ankle's out of place. So it was a long way back.
And is that something that you still have a little bit of sort of, problems with now? Or is that something that is kind of going to be a long-term sort of lifetime thing? Or
nah, to be fair, obviously because I was at Stevenage, they really looked after me. I went to St George's, which for me was incredible. The facilities there, I think I walked into St George's, like being able to walk. I was still in my walking cast. I hadn't took it off. Hadn't really done any physio. They just said rest. I think it was at maybe the 6-month period, so all my stitches had come out. Obviously, it was all healed up. It was still a bit swollen, but I hadn't put any real weight on it. I went there and I pretty much walked out of there with nothing on. So the facilities there is incredible. Physios and the knowledge down there is just incredible. So obviously, when I come back from that, I went back to the club, slowly started to get my fitness back. And then in the summer, obviously, Wesley left.
Yeah.
Sheringham come in and it kind of, the club obviously was changing. That was normally what happened when a new manager comes in. And I just don't think I was in his plans. So obviously I was still trying to get fit and trying to get back to that fitness level. But having 9 months out and obviously going from non-league to League Two, I was catching up already. And obviously once my ankle had gone, I think a lot of people kind of just knew that it was going to take me a long time to get up to that standard again.
And, that was a great season for the club as well, as you said earlier about, getting into the playoffs. And, of course, then Wesley was relieved of his duties after that when we were beaten in the playoffs there. And, that was, a real good time for the club. But for you, it's a difficult time probably to look back on.
To be fair, injuries happen in football. It was my first major injury at the time. So I kind of didn't really know how to deal with it. So obviously I just threw myself into football. So I was just watching football all the time. I was obviously studying and playing and trying to just get over my injury and do what I can. But obviously I went to the playoff final, so I was still a part of it. Obviously looking at like through the window is not as good as obviously being involved. But obviously I knew the lads on a personal level, so it was different. Obviously seeing them be successful was, amazing to be a part of. It was just, I wish I was in and amongst it. But, injuries happen and you kind of just have to wait and try and get back in.
Let's see what we've got on here. Of course, we said about it off stream there with Tom Pett as well, who is now back at the football club. And, I was just talking to you about him before. He's come in, he's been exceptional this season. Dropped into central midfield now where he's kind of at home. And, every single week he just seems to be getting better and better. And, he's been a player that over the years has been fantastic for Stevenage. But, I think this season is probably the best that seems to have actually seen of him.
Yeah, I think he's coming to that point in his career where he's dominating games. I think when I was there, he signed the season before. I think midway through, and you could see the talent the boy had. Obviously, he was playing out wide then, but he could come inside, he could go outside. He's a very, very good footballer and quick, and also a nice lad off the pitch. So yeah, he had a lot of things that went his way, and he's a good player.
And then, so you signed, when you actually left the club, you signed for Wellstone permanently, didn't you, in 2015? And, that's a great opportunity for you to go back there. And, you quite grateful to them to kind of look back on, giving you the opportunity to go and sign and become sort of a regular member of their squad.
Yeah, I think obviously when I left Stevenage, there was a few clubs that are interested, but I felt that I had unfinished business at Wellstone because obviously I was not flying, but I was doing well. I was in the squad. I scored I think two or three and four. So I was in amongst the goals. Obviously there was some big squads we played. Obviously Borough and Nebsfleet were, first and second in that division. We were obviously trying to get in and amongst the playoffs. But yeah, I felt that there was something that I hadn't finished there. So I wanted to obviously go back and say, no, look, I'm trying to get fit. And they understood that obviously I'd had a major injury. But what done it for me was I thought that my ankle was going to be weaker. And I remember we were still at Stevenage at the time and we played Wilson in a friendly. And I think it was Wes Parker. He smashed me on the halfway line right on my ankle. And Wes is a good lad. I've known him obviously since the Willstone days, and he smashed me right on it. And I thought, that doesn't hurt. It was gone. So after that, it was, well, it's going to break. It's going to break. So it was just keep playing, and if it goes, it goes. So that fear just completely left after he whacked me. So I did actually thank him, and thanks for hitting me on it, because now I know it's not going to break. So,
and that was under Teddy Sheringham as well, wasn't it, at that time? So you had a few games there under Teddy and training sessions as well. So, what was it that you kind of learnt off of Teddy, I suppose, and what about your game, being a striker that you are and having somebody there that's been there and done it at club and country level?
Yeah, for me personally, obviously, everyone knows Teddy Sheringham. If you play football and know football, you know Teddy Sheringham. Obviously, the name, what career he had. For him to come in, obviously, I was just trying to listen and learn to everything he could do. And the main thing I think I probably picked up from him was movement. Obviously, he's not blessed with pace. As my career developed, was obviously clear that pace is not going to be my strong suit because of my size. It was trying to just pick up little bits of gold that he'd say and try and add that into my game, which obviously it wasn't blessed with a lot of time, obviously, because he was trying to build his squad. But I got a few little gems.
And so that's obviously helped you along the way a little bit when you signed back for Wellstone and along the way after that as well. And what were your sort of conversations like with the chairman Phil Wallace and some of the other sort of people around the club as well, away from the managerial side? Did you have good chemistry with them?
I had a few chats with Phil. He said, at the time, obviously, when I signed, I had the meeting with him, and he said, look, obviously, you've come from miles away, which obviously in standard it is. He said, but physically, you've got all the attributes to, kick on. It's just a case of technically whether you can get up to the level. And obviously, when I come back from fitness, I was still training at the ground. I was trying to do as much as I could to try and get myself into, obviously, Teddy's plans at the time. And he did say, look, you've got all the attributes. You just, it's just on how you perform when people are watching. So I thought I had a chance, and then it kind of just never really materialised.
And of course, the club, as we said just a moment ago, have gone on a good rise now. And of course, we're remaining in the Football League. And what have you made of Alex Ravel and the work that he's done?
Yeah, he's done a great job. Obviously, the performances from the team. I don't obviously watch every minute, but obviously I watch non-league show and not long show, the other one where obviously the games are on. But yeah, they're obviously doing well and winning points and getting up that table, which obviously for Stevenage is, but obviously the facilities they've got, they should be in and amongst that league too, if not the playoffs every season.
And hopefully that's something that the club can build on now, because last season, I say last season, but it's obviously the season is just finished now. So 2 seasons ago, the club were in a real dire straits on the pitch. Doing fantastic stuff off the pitch still. But then on the pitch, it just wasn't working for whatever reason. Lots of different managerial changes and, a big squad and injuries and everything like that as well. But then, last season under Alex Ravel and Dean Wilkins and, experienced men there helping out Alex, who of course is a sort of very new man to the job. It really kind of, that would have helped him massively as well.
Yeah, they seem to turn it round, and obviously the lads started playing much better football, and there seemed to just be a different atmosphere around the club, obviously, when they took over, which is obviously great for fans and obviously the players being involved in it. So, yeah, hopefully they can kick on and keep enjoying it and progressing in the right ways.
I think, that's it, really. I'm sure they will. And, of course, off the pitch there, the club have always been very active in terms of the community work that has been done. And, it was a massive, sort of time for that during the pandemic as well. There was players, staff, everybody out and about and supporting people in the local area. And that's massive. And it's a real credit to Stevenage to be out doing that.
Yeah, well, I lived in Stevenage for a couple of months. So obviously living there, it's a different. Obviously, you realise how big of a club Stevenage is in Stevenage. It is, a lot of people are big, obviously, fans, and they go to the games. But obviously, the work that Stevenage do to the community and for the community, obviously, is amazing. It's massive for obviously the town. So yeah, they've done wonders for everyone.
It's been great, of course, during the pandemic as well. Everyone kind of needs that extra helping hand to kind of just make sure that everything's kind of on the right track for them, and Stevenage there, whether it was the sandwich deliveries, the medication, and the helpline, there was plenty of different options there that people could actually use, and Stevenage were there to help. Even sort of being vaccinated, they've got it as a vaccination centre now as well.
Yeah, no, I think whenever they can do anything to help out the community, I think they're obviously first straight onto it. So obviously the pandemic's been hard for everybody, whether it's being stuck at home or can't get out because you're vulnerable. It's been a difficult time for, I think, not just us, the whole entire world at this minute. But obviously if Stevenage are in a place to help people out, they're first to do it. So it's great.
And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think finally really is what are you sort of up to yourself these days? Are you still involved in football in any sort of capacity, or have you kind of stepped away from football now?
I'm still playing, but obviously nowhere near the standard. Obviously, as the thing, it was the third or second lockdown started, obviously most of my football got thrown out. I had a newborn to look after, and obviously day life and work, and I'm a site manager now, so obviously I'm 9 to 5, and then Little when I get home. So it's been a bit chaotic at the moment, but now as he's getting bigger, obviously my football will start coming back. So it's just a case of whether I can run off the extra pounds I put on through lockdown. So hopefully it's not too brutal.
I think that's it. For everyone really, it's about getting back to that normality now. When next week is a huge time. Of course, Monday next week, where the easing of the lockdown continues to. A lot more things that people were allowed to do. Fans being back in stadiums as well for the final couple of games of the Premier League, and cup games and things like that. The weekend, the FA Cup. You're going to have some fans in for Chelsea, Leicester as well, and there was for Man City, wasn't there, a few weeks ago when they won the League Cup as well.
So hopefully there's a couple of fans to obviously watch Chelsea win that FA Cup, and then same again for the Champions League if they can. Would be great for me being a Chelsea fan. So yeah. Well, it's good that football's obviously getting back to normal, because obviously a lot of people have struggled without it. And as a player, obviously it's a massive difference playing behind closed doors. Obviously when the crowd's in there, it is a completely different game.
I was going to ask that about the fans as well, because the fans can be your 12th man. They can push you on. They can help you to defend the lead or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Oh, the fans are massive for football. Obviously, at the top level, you've seen it with Liverpool. Obviously, Anfield is just a ridiculous place, and I'm a Chelsea fan, so for me to say that's a big deal. But yeah, if that's not proof enough, how important the fans are. Yeah, it's massive for football. So hopefully that can get back to normal, sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'm sure the government are doing all they can at the moment, and it's going to be great to have fans back in, and of course next season for Stevenage as well, to have that in League Two, and the Lamex rocking as it does, the East Terrace, the songs coming out of the terrace, and that's surely going to help the boys on to possibly achieve promotion or playoffs next year.
Yeah, massive. Obviously, it's been a long time since I've heard it rocking, but I remember how much that back stand used to get going. So yeah, it's massively important for the boys to obviously hear that, and it does completely just lift you. If you're having a bad day and you're there, yeah, it is an amazing time to be on that pitch, especially when the fans are proper. Especially with the old Stevenage Luton games, they used to go a bit special, them ones. But yeah, it was good. And I'm sure once the fans are back in there, Stevenage will be right up and amongst it.
And you played in one of those. Was it Luton or was it Cambridge? One of the derbies you played in. It was one of them, wasn't it?
I played in the Cambridge. I think I played in both the home fixtures, and I missed out on the away fixture because I think we went to Luton one of the last games of the season. So obviously I experienced it at home, and I think they scored the winner in the last minute.
Yeah,
we celebrated. Oh, we were fuming. And then the reverse fixture at their ground. Obviously, I was injured, so I just started walking. I think me and my dad went, and we sat in. Which for me is the first time I've actually been to Luton. Obviously, being a local lad, it's quite a shock walking through the houses and the terraces to get into the ground. Was like, wow, this is amazing. And then you get into the pitch, and it's like, how could you hide this stadium in here?
Behind that sort of block of flats, like, yeah.
It's crazy. But obviously, on the pitch, I think the boys did actually squeeze a win there.
I think it was 1-0, wasn't it? Was that when...
yeah.
I'm trying to think, was that...
I think Petty scored, I think.
Was it Petty or was it Kenners? Yeah. Or maybe it was 2-1. Yeah.
I can't remember now. It's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember it was just like, it was proper rivalries. And obviously it went on for years before. So yeah, it was amazing to be a part of it. Obviously not so much when we lost, but much more when we won. And it was good to be involved in it, yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to let you go now. And yeah, so thanks for doing this, Con. And
All right.
take care.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.